Dal Makhani or Maki dal, also known in English as mother's lentils, is one of the oldest and earliest memories I have of restaurant style North Indian food, enjoying it with butter naan. And now it's your chance to bring it at home, and it is just like, if not better, than what I remember. For this recipe, I will really recommend that you take the time and soak it ahead of time, the lentils and the kidney beans. It's gonna make the cooking process much easier, and what we're looking for at the end are lentils and beans that are so soft, so well cooked, that it's luxurious, it's soft, and it just melts in your mouth. What you see here was soaked overnight and then rinsed, and I'm just gonna put the beans, the lentils with some bay leaf, cinnamon, and a really generous amount of salt in this large pot, and then fill that up with water. Now technically you can also cook this in the Instant Pot, but I'm doing it on the stove top. It's a much slower process, but that slow cook really gives it that final luxurious soft doneness that, while achievable while cooking in a pressure cooker or Instant Pot, it's not exactly one-to-one. This recipe here, by the way, it's 5 times the recipe that you'll see on the link down below. I was making a lot of it ahead of time, so you can easily scale this as you need. And I'll just bring this water up to a boil and then lower the heat until it's at a very gentle simmer. Now you can cook this for kind of as long as you want. The minimal time you need is as long as it takes for the lentils and the beans to be fully soft. I would say around 1.5 hours is your minimum time. Cook with the lid on and just gently cook, stir from time to time. This here for me, I had some time on hand, so I kept cooking it as long as I could, and this is around the 3-hour point. That cooking water, that's what helps create that classic Dal Makhani color. Okay, so while that's simmering very gently, let's make the actual body, the masala of this recipe. So starting with some green chilies and tomatoes in a blender. You can put ginger and garlic like whole, but I already had some ginger garlic paste on hand. Pulse that up until it's in a nice puree, and now we'll melt some butter in a large pan. And remember, this is 5 times the recipe, so don't go crazy that it's so much butter, it's so much food as well. It's all about scale. Cumin seeds go in along with some asafoetida or hing, and you want to just toast this until it's nice and fragrant before you add in that tomato chili paste from earlier. Along with that, add degi mirch, which has a low amount of heat but adds a ton of color, along with a hefty pinch of salt, and just cook this, stir this, and simmer this until this mixture has turned light, fluffy, most of the moisture has cooked out, and it kind of looks like this. This is what intensifies the flavor in this recipe. Then we'll add some tomato paste, and that's also going to help intensify the tomatoiness in here. So just cook just the tomato paste part in the middle first before incorporating that with the masala from earlier. And if at any point you see that the masala is starting to burn or brown excessively, just add some water and continue cooking and stirring from time to time. And once this mixture is fluffy as well, we'll add in those cooked lentils along with the water into our pan. You can see now the hard work is getting those lentils and the beans so nice, soft, that they melt in your mouth. You can see how soft it is as I'm pouring it in. And as you add it all in and you mix it all together, you can kind of see how this dish is coming together. But there are a few small things we still need to do to finish this recipe, starting with some kasuri methi, which is dried fenugreek leaves, which just adds so much fragrance and a very subtle boost to the flavors in this recipe. Just makes it more earthy. Let that simmer for a bit before we now finish with some more butter, then some garam masala, and then a good amount of heavy cream. You can use table cream as well, or half and half, but I'm using heavy cream here, and this is now coming together. You can of course adjust the amounts of the butter, the cream, But at this point, this is what Dal Makhani or maa ki dal should look like. In case you want to take the extra step and bring that smoky flavor into this recipe, then once the dal is already done at the last stage, then take a piece of charcoal, and if you have a gas stovetop, then heat that until it's nice and hot. Place that in a ramekin or a stainless steel bowl and put that in the middle of the pan that the dal is cooking in. And then put some ghee or butter on it and then cover the lid. That's gonna smoke the coal and incorporate that smokiness, because the lid is closed, into that dal. It'll only take a few minutes for that smoky flavor to go inside the food. And in case you don't have a gas stove top, you have an electric or induction, you can use a blowtorch to make that coal nice and hot as well. Now I can link this guide that shows you how to do it, but in case you want me to demonstrate that in a future video, then let me know down below. I had this with my own butter naans that I made in my oven. It's so easy to make. Check that out down below, because it was the perfect pair to have with this dal. And of course, finish it with a bit more cream, bit more butter. This is rich, this is luxurious. It is the butter chicken for lentils, and I love it. So if you love how this turned out as well, and you want to bring more of classic North Indian cuisine into your own kitchen and do it kind of better, then check out the playlist and the links down below.